The show can't start until we crack open a bottle of Revelton. Whether it's their crisp, clean vodka, the bold spice of their rye whiskey, the rich smoothness of bourbon, or the original honey whiskey that started it all, every pour is a taste of craft and passion straight from the heart of Iowa. So pour yourself a drink, settle in, and get ready to relax, laugh, and enjoy the show.
Hey, it's Andrew Downs. I'm proud to support Three Beards Media, and I would love to work with you. If you need merchandise for your company, organization, band, softball team, whatever, I can help. From name brand apparel to promotional items, large orders or small, online stores, and more, I can help your brand stand out. AKC Marketing is local, based in Johnston, and we are an employee-owned business, so our costs are low and our turnaround times are fast. But most importantly, we give you personal service to make sure you get exactly what you're looking for. Email me at andrew@akcmarketing.com or find me on social media, and let's make some cool stuff together. Now sit back and enjoy this Three Beards Media podcast.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Locks and Longshots. Andrew Barber here, bringing you picks, and we're going to be speeding through fast and furious this week as we have a shortage of time and too many picks to walk through. But let's start with college football. 0-3 last week. We took a chance on some teams that I said I wouldn't bet on again. There was a reason for that. Should have trusted my gut. I did not. I failed you all. I'm sorry. But we'll move forward, and we'll move on to what I am going to entitle as Sink or Swim Week. It's sink or swim for me. It's sink or swim for these teams that we're going to run through and some of the players that we're going to look at in college football. Last 4 weeks of the regular season for most teams, and a playoff push ahead. We got to lock in. We got to start turning this thing around and get some good picks in. And let's start it off with a Friday night three-piece. South Florida minus 13.5. Sink or swim, like I said. They're coming off that loss to Memphis. Things are a little bit down, but they have to get back up for this game against UTSA at home. And I believe that Byron Brown and the boys will do it. Another team that needs to kind of bounce back after a rough week is the Houston Cougars. I think they are slight favorites, but I'm going to take them on the money line here against a 500 UCF on the road. I like Connor Weigeman better than I like what UCF has going on in their team with Scott Frost at the helm. And then an amazing game here. Memphis is in a lot of big games as they kind of battle it out for that group of 5 spot. Tulane trying to work their way into that conversation as well. But both these teams put up a lot of points, and I think we're going to see a lot of points on Friday night in this game, over 54.5 in this one. Let's shift the clock to Saturday then and start with another Big 12 over. BYU and Texas Tech, two of the best teams in the conference regular season. They're battling for positioning there, and both of these teams desperately want a win. BYU wants to remain undefeated. Texas Tech has the one loss, but they would like to win the regular season in the Big 12. I think this is going to be a shootout down there in Lubbock. Over 52.5 points. Watch Bear Bachmeyer and Baron Morton. It's a sneaky, underrated quarterback battle, in my opinion. 2 top 10 teams. Big game this week. Second biggest game of the week in college football. We can talk about the biggest game. You'll probably hear about the biggest game of the week in college football on Hawk's Eye View. That is Iowa, Oregon, for sure. But Texas A&M minus 6.5 this week. I like them in this spot. They are the number 3 team in the nation. I'm a big fan of Marcel Reed as well. I think he has a sneaky value in the Heisman race. I don't think he'll win it, but he may have some value there for you. But Marcel Reed over passing and rushing yards in this one as well. Big fan of what the Aggies are doing and what they are looking like this season. I know that they're ranked 3rd in the college football playoff rankings. They are 3rd in the nation, but I do think there's a chance when all is said and done that they could end up on top if the chips fall right. Next, I said I was never betting on the teams I bet on last week. I'm going to flip the script on Iowa State here. I went with them last week at home in that stunning loss to the Jeff Sims-led Arizona State Sun Devils. Just a stunning turn of events here for ISU in their season, and they are really reeling, and that's not a good spot to be in when you're going up against a team like TCU, who is wanting to kind of work their way into a higher echelon bowl game. They want to finish their season strong. I'm not sure that TCU has a realistic shot or a path to the playoffs. Big 12, likely a one-bid league like it was last year, and that one bid probably going to BYU or Texas Tech. But there's enough football left to play that TCU will probably want to make a push, and so I'm going to ride with them on the spread. They're a little bit under a touchdown favorite at 6.5. And also, this ISU defense is depleted. This TCU offense has been electric all season, led by Josh Hoover. I like the over in this game as well. And so I'm going to really load up on this one matchup and load up against kind of that ISU defense that I think is just going to be overmatched. McAllister and Dwyer on the outside for the Horned Frogs are a sensational duo. And Josh Hoover is going to light this defense up. So where I'm going to take his over on passing yards and passing touchdowns. Big week coming from Josh Hoover. All right, let's move on to another Big 12 game that I think is going to have a lot of points. 2 teams that, again, are probably out of the running for Big 12 title aspirations. Kansas and Arizona, both these teams put up a boatload of points every time they hit the field. The over is set at 56.5, but I like it. I'm going to go ride with that. And I think that Jalen Daniels is going to have a nice game here against this Wildcats defense. Give me the Jalen Daniels over passing and rushing yards in this one. We talk sink or swim. Sink or swim week for me. Sink or swim week for these teams. A team that sank last week against Texas and people thought could legitimately walk into Austin and pull off the upset. And that's Diego Pavia and the Vanderbilt Commodores. They are a 6.5-point favorite against Auburn at home in Nashville. I like them to bounce back this week in a big way. Vanderbilt minus 6.5. And let's ride with Diego Pavia over passing and rushing yards. I know that I'm introducing this week. It's kind of a new element here with the player props in the college football game. It is something that you can do in Iowa. It's not something that you can get in all 50 states. And in Iowa, you cannot make these bets, I guess, on games that involve Iowa State, so I'm not entirely sure that I'll be able to get those Josh Hoover props that I mentioned, but I like them. If you have them available to you, it's a good option. Let's stick with the football theme, and let's head to the NFL, where last week we had 8 picks and we hit on 3 out of the 8. That was the Drake May over passing yards, over passing touchdowns, and the Dak Prescott over passing yards. We fell a bit shy with the Patriots spread and the Lions with the biggest oof of the week, losing to the J.J. McCarthy-led Vikings in Detroit. That was unexpected. As was Cowboys-Cardinals, turning into a bit more of a defensive game than I would have liked. Dak Prescott only throwing 1 touchdown instead of 2 touchdowns. The Patriots barely edging out the Falcons, winning by 1, but Drake May stays hot. And with that being said, let's go back to the Drake May well this week. I like what Drake May is doing. I think he has an underdog shot to win the MVP. I know that his odds have shifted. If you had taken him to win the MVP for the NFL before the year started, you would be feeling pretty good right now. Maybe looking even at a cash out option if you like doing that sort of a thing. So I want to take a stab at a future. If you can still get it, I like Drake May to win the NFL MVP, and I like the New England Patriots even better to win their division and make the AFC Championship game. If you want to take a stab at those 3 futures, I think now is the time to take a stab at each and every one of those. Go look at the Patriots schedule, and you'll see why those odds are probably going to shift for the better as the season progresses, because it is not a daunting schedule with the way that the New England Patriots have looked. And I think they have another great quarterback with Drake May on their hands. But he has a little bit of a tough test this week, and I think it's going to be probably the game of the week in the NFL at noon on Sunday between the Patriots and the Buccaneers. I like the Drake May overs, but I also like the Baker Mayfield overs on passing yards and passing touchdowns. Some people talk about Baker Mayfield for the MVP race. I think it's Josh Allen's to lose at the moment, but those 3 guys seem to have really elevated their play this year. And specifically in the case of Drake May and Baker Mayfield, have really played their way into that sort of conversation, and rightfully so. But for that reason, I also like the Patriots Buccaneers over 48.5 points. I think it is going to be a sensational game. And if you have red zone, the points are going to be flying fast and furious. Maybe not quite as fast and furious as that Bears-Bengals game last week, but not too far off, I don't think. And then let's go back to the Lamar Jackson. Well, he didn't hit the anytime touchdown for us, but maybe he was adjusting week 1, being back after a couple of weeks of an injury. He takes on the Minnesota Vikings. The Ravens are favored on the road, even though they're 3-5, and the Vikings just came off that win against the Lions. But I would like to take the passing and rushing yards over on Lamar Jackson. I think he's going to be looking to make a lot of plays in this one. And also, Lamar Jackson to score an anytime touchdown. My next 2 picks, on one of them, I'm going to do something that I said I would never do on this podcast, but I'm going to have to break my one rule for this moment. But Seahawks minus 6.5. I like the Seattle team. They completely decimated the Washington Commanders. Of course, Jaden Daniels got hurt, but even before that, they were lighting it up. Sam Darnold, you talk about a quarterback that's elevated his play. This offense was just on fire against that Washington team, and now they come back home. I think they're going to absolutely crush it this week. I like the Seattle Seahawks and everything that they're doing right now. They're going to win by at least a touchdown. And that leads me to my final spread pick of the week. Yes, I'm going to do something that I said I would never do. And it really doesn't make any sense. And it's nothing more than a gut feel for each of my last two NFL picks here. That is Packers -2.5 on Monday night against the Eagles. The story of this Green Bay season has been look incredible against last year's playoff teams, look like an absolute dumpster fire against the worst teams in the NFL. Well, the Eagles made it to the Super Bowl last year, and they're coming to Lambeau. Tucker Kraft just tore his ACL. It looks like everything is down and out for Green Bay. Not so fast. I think this is going to be one of Green Bay's best games in prime time. I think Jordan Love is going to be doing his thing, slinging it all over, and he's finally going to connect with first-round rookie wide receiver Matthew Golden for an anytime touchdown. It'll be Matthew Golden's first touchdown of the year. I'm calling my shot right now. You heard it here first. Get your bets in. Matthew Golden, anytime touchdown. It's going to happen. All right. Well, that'll do it for the football picks for this week. Again, I buzzed through all of that. I'm going to buzz through some basketball picks after we come back, after the break, and introduce a new sport with college basketball now getting into full swing. It's going to be an incredible time for us now that we have both college football, NFL, college basketball, and NBA to bet on all at the same time. I love it. It's my favorite time of the year. I can't say that enough, but I will come back with all of my basketball picks right after this break.
Making great tasting bourbon requires the perfect combination of ingredients, conditions, and time. The longer it rests, the better it tastes. Revelton Distillery's new single barrel bourbon is made from 80% corn, sourced 100% from Iowa farmers. And unlike mass-produced bourbons, each barrel of Revelton's single barrel bourbon is unique, proofed on when it tastes best. As they like to say, it'll be ready when it's ready. And to ensure the highest standards of quality and flavor, owners Rob and Christy Taylor oversee the production and bottling. Every single barrel. Iowa-born, Iowa-aged, Iowa-bottled. Try the new single barrel bourbon from Iowa's own Revelton Distillery. ReveltonDistillery.com.
Gentlemen, let's be honest. Finding the perfect gift for your wife or girlfriend isn't always easy. You want something thoughtful, stylish, and unique. And that's exactly what you'll find at Styled by JJ Boutique. Julia Bradshaw and her team strive to be your go-to boutique for casual, boho, and chic clothing and accessories, helping women elevate their style one piece at a time. Located right here in Johnston, Iowa, Styled by JJ brings trendy, high-quality fashion that boosts confidence without breaking the bank. So, if you're looking for a gift that says, I get you, instead of I tried, head to Styled by JJ Boutique. Because nothing makes her smile like feeling beautiful. Styled by JJ Boutique, where style meets confidence. Visit our Johnston location or shop online at styledbyjjboutique.com.
All right, welcome back in, and it is time to get in the full swing of things for basketball season. Picks coming at you fast and furious. Now, tonight on November 5th, I'm going to throw these picks out there. I don't know if you'll be able to catch all of these lines when you're listening to this episode. If you are, you may be able to just catch the late games here, as a couple of these picks are games that have already tipped off. But I like Tyrese Maxey over points. I like Jaylen Brown over points. Both those guys have been lighting it up early this season. Tyrese Maxey has been an absolute revelation. He's kind of ascended into a top 25 player in the NBA if he wasn't already there, probably even closer to like the top 20, top 15. Been absolute sensational start for him as he's guided the Sixers to a good record. And then, yes, that man Jokic plays tonight. So you know exactly what that means. Each and every night that Jokic plays, just book it. Jokic over points, rebounds, and assists. Jokic triple-double. With that being said, another player that I love that you can book it on both of these prop bets, that's Luka Doncic over points. Luka Doncic over points, rebounds, and assists. He just absolutely takes control of games and is going to continue to do so as long as LeBron is out. This is Luka's team anyways, even if LeBron is in. He has been locked in shape, fit, ready to go from day one of the season. He did have a couple of games that he missed, but it really hasn't affected him at all. He is completely locked in, and it looks like he's coming for that MVP award this season, and I think he has the goods to earn it with everybody that's around him there on the Lakers. And yeah, they're going to need him to do MVP things if the Lakers are going to be competitive at all. I think it'll be a fun battle between he and Jokic and SGA and maybe others that can kind of work their way into it. Wemby has put himself in that conversation for sure. Giannis is always right around that conversation. So those five guys are going to battle it out for the MVP award. But I think Luka will ultimately prevail, and that's why I'm gonna ride Luka props this year as well. And then I'm gonna go a little bit off the radar with a guy on the San Antonio Spurs, and that's Stephon Castle. He's gonna step up into a bigger role with both De'Aaron Fox and Dylan Harper out. I like his over points and assists tonight against the Lakers. The Lakers are not known for their defense, and I think Stephon Castle is going to be in control of the ball. He's been initiating a lot of their offense and has been lighting it up in a multitude of ways on both ends of the court. He has been awesome, and I think you should give him a watch. He won Rookie of the Year last year, and nobody's talking about him because they brought in Dylan Harper, the number 2 overall pick, and Wemby has ascended to superstardom as well. On Thursday night, there's only one game in the NBA, but I have 3 props for you. And I like Devin Booker over points and assists against the Clippers here. He's going to have the ball in his hands a lot, kind of like what I just talked about with Castle. He has to make all the plays for the Suns to have a shot. And then I like Kawhi Leonard over points and James Harden over points, rebounds, and assists. The Suns are not good. They do not intend to be good. I think Harden and Kawhi are going to have their way with them on Thursday night. And Friday night, it's a big night in the NBA, always is, always will be. But Giannis over points, rebounds, and assists. I love that. And then Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, or SGA, his over on points. Kevin Durant over on points. Both those guys are scoring the ball at a high rate and will continue to do so on Friday night. Alperen Şengün, when we talk about the Rockets, we can't talk about him enough. He looks like he's transformed into an all-NBA player. I like his over on points, rebounds, and assists. And then I'm going to take it back to the well with Stephon Castle over on points and assists again on Friday night. And then I'm going to take a little bit of a stab with Wemby steals plus blocks over. Anthony Edwards is back in action tonight against the Knicks, but he's also going to play on Friday if everything goes well. I like Ant-Man to kind of reassume his role as the front man of the Wolves, and he has something to prove. I didn't mention him just a bit ago in that MVP conversation. I think he can play his way there too. but he's missed a little bit of time. He has to stay healthy. He's fully capable of ascending to that kind of a level, but he is known primarily as a scorer. I think he's going to get his in the point column on Friday night. And then again, book it. Jokic is playing over points, rebounds, and assists. Jokic triple-double on Friday night. So there's your NBA picks for this weekend. I'm excited to bring to you a few, just a smattering of college basketball picks. The problem with giving you too many college basketball picks on a Wednesday when I'm recording this is that not all the lines for Saturday are out yet. So I'll have to think about that going forward, how I can get some picks out to you guys for Saturdays, especially when conference play starts and things are in full swing. But I can look ahead and tell you what I like even without seeing the numbers on the board for Friday and Saturday both. But let's start on Thursday night, and I'm going to keep it local. I'm here in Iowa. There's a couple of teams from Iowa in action, specifically in the Missouri Valley. They're both at home. I like them both in this spot because they're favored by less than 10 at home. UNI, they're going to be one of the teams to watch in the Missouri Valley for the conference title. Missouri Valley basketball is going to be a lot of fun to watch. I think a lot of people assume Illinois State's going to run away with this conference, or maybe UNI will be in that mix. But may I submit to you that both Drake and Murray State will be kind of in the running for this conference as well. I think that may surprise some people, but that's why I want to take a stab at both of them on a Friday night here to cover their respective spreads. UNI minus 9.5 and Drake minus 8.5. All right. My next pick in college basketball, big game between Kansas and North Carolina. It's on the road. I'm going to put my trust in Bill Self and Darren Peterson, the sensational freshman. I think guard play goes a long way in college basketball. While North Carolina might have the more balanced, better overall team, I think Peterson's going to light them up. Give me Kansas on the money line. And then probably the biggest game here on Saturday between Alabama and number 15 overall in the AP poll, and they're taking on St. John's. And if you don't know anything about St. John's, they're going to push the pace. They're going to try to score, and score some more. Last year, they were sort of a defensive menace, and they have swung the pendulum the other way with what they've done in the transfer portal. And Alabama loves that kind of a style as well. This total for the over total points is going to be high, but regardless of what it is, grab it right when it opens. I love the over on total points in Alabama St. John's. And if you like offense in college basketball, you're going to love this game. Also, the continuation rule has been instilled in college basketball. And while I don't think they'll enforce it the same way that the NBA enforces it, where it's a bit excessive, it is going to be a bit of a factor that the books maybe haven't accounted for yet at this point in time. They probably will by the time conference play kicks off. But at this point in time, I think Vegas is underrating the installation of the continuation rule in college basketball and how that will increase the scoring overall. So look at some of those overs as you go through the college basketball season, even with some teams that you don't expect. I think there's going to be great over potential in a lot of college basketball games, especially in the non-conference season. But as things kind of clamp down in February and March, that's when we'll have to hit some unders probably at that point in time. So again, we'll love to bring you more college basketball picks as kind of that season unfolds, as kind of lines get rolled out further ahead of time. But I'll figure something out for all of you. But those are my picks in college football, NFL, NBA, and college basketball. I appreciate you all for listening and following along. Thank you. Have a great night, and thank you for listening to another episode of Locks and Long Shots. Bye for now.